Hi, welcome to RunRebs Live. I'm Mike Romala. I'm here with Sean DeFrank from Vegas 7. We're here in our brand new studio at the Vegas 7 offices. And today I want to talk a little bit about the non-conference schedule, which came out on Monday. And I think that the first thing that sort of stands out is the strength of the schedule. They're playing some really good teams this year, some really marquee names, and they're playing Arizona at the Thomas and Mack. They're playing at Kansas. They're playing at Arizona State. Possible matchup with Duke and the coaches versus Cancer. So I mean, you've followed this team for a long time. Where does this stack up in recent memory in terms of strength of schedule? Is this the strongest schedule since maybe the Tark era in terms of non-conference?
I definitely think so. I mean, anytime you can play marquee teams on national TV, that obviously gets kids' attention. It obviously also lets Dave Rice know early on kind of what he's got to work with and what his team needs to work on going into the Mountain West Conference schedule, which is obviously the most important part of the schedule.
Yeah, and that's the flip side. For a team like UNLV, it looks like Rice is going to be recruiting a lot of these talented players who may not be here, very long. So I mean, if you're going to be recruiting a team that's going to be young pretty much every year, the flip side is that you're playing untested guys in these, at Kansas, which is going to be a tough venue. Do you feel like that will help the team in the long run, as you said, be more battle tested sort of for the Mountain West? Or do you think like playing a tough schedule like that can sort of hurt a team's confidence early in the year?
I mean, it can hurt a team's confidence, but I think the benefits far outweigh the cons. If they do happen to beat a Duke or an Arizona or win at Kansas, I mean that does wonders for a team's confidence going into the conference season.
And I think that with the recruiting class they have coming in, a lot of these teams, it's sort of in the same boat. I know Duke is going to be young, Arizona is going to be young again. They lost players to the NBA, so I feel like those games are winnable for UNLV. What sort of games? What game stands out to you when you first saw the schedule as this is like the marquee game, or this is the game that I want to see?
Well, as a longtime UNLV fan and a UNLV alumni, I still got a bad taste in my mouth from 1991, like everybody else.
I had a feeling you might go there.
Yes, so of course I'd love to see them play Duke and obviously see them beat Duke, but just to even get the chance to finally take the court against them again is definitely something I think every Rebel fan has highlighted on the schedule right now.
I put a story up on RunRebs breaking down the schedule, sort of wins and losses, sort of projecting the team. I know it's very early to do that. We don't even know who the first two opponents are going to be. They're still to be announced. I had them pegged at 9-4 through the non-conference, through those 13 non-conference games. Is that something that you would feel like would be a success for the team if they were able to come through the non-conference with that sort of record?
If that goes in the way that you've laid it out, and those are the 9 wins that happen, and those are the 4 losses that happen, I think UNLV should be very happy with that result. Now, if they happen to beat a Duke or a Kansas, but then lose to South Dakota or something, then I think those are kind of a wash. The loss is so bad that it wipes out the positive of the good win, but. If the losses happen to come, say, to Kansas, Duke, Arizona, and those types of teams, and they're close, competitive games, I think there's no shame in going 9-4 at that point.
And I think that's something we saw last year. We found out with, losses to good teams really won't hurt you too badly in the eyes of the NCAA, but you need to win those quality games. You need quality wins on your resume at some point when it comes to NCAA tournament time. So just the opportunity to sort of play a Duke, play a Kansas, play an Arizona, if you can win one of those games, that's going to look really good on your resume at the end of the year.
Most definitely. And again, and if they happen to win some of those marquee games, they can't then go and trip over their own feet in the next game against a lesser opponent, which we saw them do at times last season. I think that's something they really have to avoid is looking ahead from one game to the next.
Do you think that's realistic with such a young team? I mean, I feel like at some point we're going to see them stumble and lose a game that the fans or the public in general thinks that they should win. That should be a slam dunk. I think we may see them stumble to Portland or a team like that. But I don't think it will necessarily kill the team, but I do think we're going to see some of that at some point during the season.
If by stumbled you mean a game is closer than it should be, but they end up winning it, then obviously you can still take a learning lesson from that. If they just outright lose, to an Albany or especially to like a St. Catherine, I think that's, even if it's by 1 point, that's just a horrible loss.
I think St. Catharines is the one team we don't have to worry about this season. Thanks for stopping by, and that's RunRebs Live.